Rich Goldberg is with us now. He's a former national security senior official under President Trump. Also, he's a senior advisor to really one of the great groups, the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Rich Goldberg, given the state of play right now, what is the state of play right now with Iran?
Well, the president has amassed an immense amount of forces in the region. He has more on the way. We have one carrier strike group on station, several other guided missile destroyers, both near Iran, Red Sea, and off the coast of Israel. We have another carrier strike group on its way, either off the coast of Israel into the Red Sea or again into the Arabian Sea. But the president has a lot of options in front of him at the same time as those forces are moving. And it's important to make sure he has the forces he needs. He has the capabilities he needs for any of the objectives he has in mind, and to mitigate any retaliation to protect the United States, to protect U.S. forces. He is at the table right now. He has sent Jared Kushner. He has sent Steve Witkoff, his envoys, to Oman for a couple of rounds of talks so far with Iran's emissaries. And of course, you know, for I think most common sense people, it makes our stomach turn to think of sitting down and talking to a regime just days after they've mass murdered 50,000 people in a matter of hours and obliterated the president's red line. It makes my stomach turn to think about negotiating, the word negotiating, with a regime that pledges death to America, that's tried to kill Donald Trump multiple times, that has so much American blood on its hand from Gold Star families that I've sat down with throughout my career. But that's President Trump. He will not close the door on diplomacy. If there is an actual good deal for the United States here, and what is a good deal we should talk about, because it's not Barack Obama's deal, it's not Joe Biden's good deal, it's what Donald Trump would accept for the United States as an actual good deal, a fundamental change in this regime, that it can't be a policy of death to America in the future, that it can't be a place that sponsors terrorism, that builds nuclear weapons and the missiles to deliver them. If he could actually get, through gunboat diplomacy, true fundamental change from these radical mullahs, which I think is hard to achieve, then he doesn't have to use the military force. It's a last option. It's a last resort. But in the end, he knows his red lines have been obliterated now multiple times, both the mass murder in the streets the first time, the execution in silence of so many people who had been detained against his desires. And then, of course, even while talking recently in Oman, more protesters in the street gunned down. I think the president understands who he's dealing with. He's the same president who killed Soleimani. He's the same president who authorized Operation Midnight Hammer and took out multiple nuclear sites. This is a president who knows he's dealing with a very radical anti-American regime.
All right, let me circle back to something you said. If we can get a good deal. You see, there's two things here in my mind. Get a good deal, and will they comply with a deal, any deal? And I keep bringing up North Korea. We got a lot of good deals with North Korea. They agreed not to build any nukes if we denuclearize South Korea. South Korea is still denuclearized, and they have nukes. That went on for 20 years. Deals with the UN, deals with the EU, deals with the United States, deals and more deals and signed papers, and they just blew it off. That's a communist regime. What makes anybody think that this regime, an Islamist regime that has certain ideological strategic positions that allows it to lie and cheat and connive, and we know it lied and cheated and connived in the past deal with Obama, what makes anybody think, even if we have the greatest deal of deals ever dealt, that they're going to comply with it, not just during the Trump presidency, but after the Trump presidency? That's my question to you when we return. We'll be right back. Welcome back, America. We are with Rich Goldberg, one of the great minds when it comes to many things, but the Middle East in particular. So this issue of deals and diplomacy and negotiations, does everybody understand what we're dealing with here, Rich Goldberg?
I don't. I mean, this is a regime that has been deceitful in every single negotiation it's ever held. And you mentioned North Korea. The model of the North Korea deal that Bill Clinton cut in the 1990s that led to the nuclear weapons crisis that we continue to face out of North Korea and their long-range missile program is exactly what was replicated in 2015 by Barack Obama in what we call the JCPOA. Any sort of piece of paper, any just political commitment by this regime is worth nothing. It is laughable. And by the way, even if they temporarily suspend certain activities, if you don't know the complete understanding, the designs of their programs, their nuclear programs, their missile programs, if you don't start at any negotiation, any demand with, I want a complete, comprehensive declaration of everything you have ever done in the last multiple decades when it comes to nuclear weapons activities, when it comes to enrichment, reprocessing, nuclear scientists involved, R&D, weaponization work, and your missile program, how would you ever know what you're getting from them? The idea that they're giving you concessions when you don't even have a balance sheet of the threat is a ridiculous place to start as a businessman at the table. And so the idea that they would, give up for a certain number of years some sort of enrichment. By the way, this president already suspended their enrichment for the foreseeable future during Operation Midnight Hammer. The idea that they're going to say, we'll self-limit the range of our missiles while we know our missiles can reach not just Europe today, but soon the United States of America as they continue research and development on intercontinental ballistic missiles. We'll just promise right now to not have our terrorist proxies attack Americans and American allies throughout the world until the moment that they do decide to activate those terrorist proxies. So the idea that you're just taking something on trust from this regime, that they're just making a promise politically, is nuts. The only thing that would ever actually make sense is if you comprehensively understand the full spectrum of their nuclear and missile programs. They provide a complete and verifiable declaration. We then go verify it quickly, and then they submit to the full dismantlement and destruction of every one of those threats, both their nuclear activities and all of their nuclear-capable missiles, both ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. And on terrorism, this isn't a place where you compromise. This isn't where you try to triangulate something in the middle on terrorism. This is black and white. This is whether you're a terrorist regime or not. You either sponsor terrorism or you don't. And let's remember who Donald Trump is dealing with. This is not a country. This is not a reasonable Western power. This is a terrorist group running a country. That's what the Islamic Republic of Iran is. And they want nuclear weapons, and they say death to America. That is not a slogan. That is a policy. And President Trump knows that very well.
One of the things that bothers me a lot right now, Rich Goldberg, is the treatment of the moral aspect, the human aspect. That is the genocide that's going on in there as a secondary issue or not an issue at all. He's slaughtering these people. Now, I'm not saying as a matter of policy we can intervene in every case where people are being slaughtered, but here we can. It's in its weakest position ever. It is a dire threat to us, the United States, to our allies in the Middle East, Israel and others in Europe, even though the quislings there don't even realize it. But the fact is, this regime is slaughtering people left and right, young people, and we urged them to go protest. We said we would come to their aid, and we are a nation that keeps its word. Quickly, yes or no?
Yes, Mark. 3 reasons they want to talk right now. 1 is to buy time and stave off military action because they know it's coming. Number 2, they know that so long as they're at the table, the bottom doesn't fall out of their economy, which is on the brink of collapse. And number 3, they know that millions of people just came out to the streets just weeks ago. And if they stay at the table with the United States, those people are demoralized from coming out again. And I think if President Trump internalizes those 3 facts and continues to move those forces and does not get some fundamental change that actually is verifiable, dismantlement on key threats, he needs to do exactly what he promised.
2 words. Get Khomeini. Thank you very much, my friend. God bless you.
Thanks, Mark.
We'll be right back.